Today I've seen an article about not let your relationship to be ruined by these conversations. And sometimes I think I'm not talking about fighting or anything like that, but you see, the thing is, after a while, if the people in your surroundings are not growing, in a way they might, but maybe not at the pace as you're growing, okay? Let's say they don't have that level of self-commitment. Let's say they are not as conscious. They are conscious to a certain degree, but they are not on your level. But it does not matter if they are or not. Sometimes they are those relationships which has to fade away. And you see, this is the misconception of humans and human thinking, that you need to keep maintaining all kinds of relationships. No, you don't. Sometimes you have to cut them. Sometimes those relationships are nothing else but little sandbags on your little air balloon. So you have to learn to cut the sandbags. And so please do not invest in secondary relationship your energy, which might be just about time that you fully invest in your primary one. And guess what? Who is the primary relationship in your life? You and you together. And so there is something which you came to do here on earth, whatever it is. It does not matter what it is. Your path, whatever, you have to walk through it. You have to step on it. But if you keep, because somebody says something or you read something, and then you feel a complete resonance against it, it's not your path. So you have to learn to really pay attention to your feelings. It is not true for you. So please do not force yourself or rape yourself to maintain certain meaningless relationships. They might come around. They might become conscious in 2 years, but maybe now you just have to break the cycle in order that everybody can step into their own path more fully, okay? So if they don't want to grow, and it could be your parents or grandparents, it doesn't matter, maybe like older generation, maybe they have to die in order to grow. Maybe they have to check out of this reality. And maybe they were just alive because you wasted your precious life force energy. And if it has to be that way, so be it. You're not responsible for anybody's well-being. And maybe you have spent years of teaching them, letting them know really, really valuable things, but they are just not listening. So eventually you learn not to, tell them, because you just learn to respect and honor their choices. And I remember when my mom had 3 strokes and I was at home, and one time she collapsed and I could not hold her. So she fell and she did hit her head in the concrete on the sidewalk. And then I had this thing, like the inner judge came in, activated. And it kept telling me, oh, you could not hold her, you were there, and you could not help her, and etc., etc. And then I asked, myself, I just made this whole thing conscious, how I was really badgering myself in my mind. And I said, so tell me now, what's with this one, with this guilt stuff, this guilt trip that I'm on? And then a sentence came and said, you are not responsible for the things they commit against themselves. And it's a choice to be conscious. It is a choice to be aware and wanting to be more self-aware than we actually used to be. And it is a choice which you can make anytime when you had enough of suffering and you really want to get to the bottom of things, meaning your own self-knowledge, getting intimate with all of your so-called seeming problems and looking for the solutions and looking for the discovering of your deeper self, your divine self, and you want to reconnect. So it is a choice that everybody can make and will make in one life, maybe not this one, and that's okay, So we are not responsible for someone's diseases, and then you become the victim of that, and then let's say you might jump in the sack pretty fast, because I've seen people who were taking care of people who were completely disabled, could not really move or hardly move. And then they become these caretakers. And then the caretaker, guess what? Gets a stroke. Or the caretaker jumps in the sack and dies faster than the other that she was taking care of. So this is another thing, don't get fooled by the love that you feel for them. So I say, do not listen to your heart, because your heart is a little stupid. So if you're not taking your self-compassion with you, and if you're not going in there with consciousness, logic and reasoning for self-caretaking, because this is your primary relationship every time, and eventually you will be faced with something in your life where you have to choose yourself over somebody. And of course, they taught you all this bullshit with the victimization, like self-suffering and self-sacrificing and all this crap that is just beyond a certain level of consciousness. And if you are still living a dogma-based or obligatory living in that sense, in that area, you might want to consider for your own sake. So it is very important that you know what suits you currently in your current vibratory system and in your current vibratory zone. Because what might have been might not be good enough now. So you have to be able to pull the plug, out of you, and then say, what do I really want? What do I feel that is healthy for me now? That is healthier than what I have been engaging with for, let's say, the last 3 years, or the last 2 years, or the last 1 year. It doesn't matter. And, maybe it is just time to step up to the next level. And so you always have to stay self-conscious and stay in your body, because your body, your feelings will tell you. The time when I start getting angry, I always ask, So what is really underneath that upsets me? When I start getting angry at someone, there is an underlying thing which I have to really, really investigate in regard to myself, of course. So why am I getting upset? Is this maybe time for me to leave this relationship behind? Let them be on their own, whatever. Maybe we don't spend that much time together anymore. Maybe if you live with them, maybe you have to move out. Maybe you have to get away for a while to really clear your own head and know which way to go, which way to start. Maybe you're not bringing a final concrete decision, but you maybe go for a 2-month retreat or a 1-month retreat somewhere where you can be by yourself, mostly and mainly. Why? Because if you are spending your time in stimulating yourself and you don't have time to feel yourself, then you get in this entertainment mode, and then you are again surrounded by people and happenings and and it's again not about you. Sometimes we have to sit back, be with ourselves so much. No radio, no computer, no Facebook, no this, no that, and just be with you. In order to regain such clarity that you might not be able to do in an environment which is kind of like constantly reminding you of a conditioned environment. Somehow you have a harder time to connect to yourself because it constantly reminds you of an energy. It constantly keeps some morphogenetic field alive. And you have to take yourself out of it. So this is like when you feel like, when I felt like, okay, I'm hungry for myself. And when I feel that I'm hungry for myself, I know I need to be by myself. Or when I feel like tender. So I kind of really reconnected to my body and to my feelings, emotions, in order to sense myself, what is best for me at that time. And a lot of times I just shut off and I just go and I just whatever, and I just hop on a train or just do something else that I've not done before. Something really that takes me out of that. And it feels good. It feels very good. So if you ever wanted to know what's the next right step, and you have a hard time connecting to yourself while you are in the vicinity of other people, you have to be by yourself. You have to be alone. And this will help you. Journaling helps you. Spending more time with yourself and focusing on self rather than on other people. So, sometimes it helps you if you are alone for 3 days. Maybe you go somewhere, or a week. It doesn't matter. Maybe that's enough. I don't know. It depends on your level of awareness and self-consciousness and self-awareness. How easily, because us, intuitive empaths, we are so involved usually in other people, and how much we are used to the habitual caretaking that for us needs a lot bigger change and a lot bigger shift even in our surroundings to be able to feel ourselves more clearly. And it depends on your sensitivity, It depends on your sensitivity. And then maybe you just say, okay, now this is a time where I really just have to take it easy. And I don't know what's going to be. I'm not thinking further than 1 or 2 months. And maybe, I'm just going to go and rent a place someplace. Maybe go to the shore, the ocean, and just walk around and just relax and not do anything, not to really think, not in terms of problems or anything, just completely quiet. my surroundings, quiet my mind, just enjoy that I don't have to engage with anyone. I don't have to engage with no one. And that's it. And just enjoy me, fully enjoying me. So, I don't know, who knows? Maybe this is what you have to do. And, I had clear messages periodically when they said, okay, 1 month, go inward. Or I heard 2 months, go inward. And, those are the things that you have to pay attention to and not question, but really, really do what you hear, what you sense. Because some of us are clairaudient, other ones are clairvoyant, like you see things, clairsentient, like I am feeling. It's all about feelings. And I can sense the energy of other people. I can sense when liars approach me. I can sense when manipulators approach me. And of course, we all had to learn to trust our inner guidance system, which is built in all of us. But not everybody is connected to it strongly. And some of the people cannot even feel it or sense it. So, well, I hope it helps in a way. And if this is the message you needed to hear, you're going to find it. Thank you.